Leaving this little anchorage. We spent the last day and night. It's just near the tuna works in Malekula Bay. That's how you pronounce it. It's like a bit of a ship graveyard. There's also some sort of logging operation going on there. And yeah, they seem to be sandblasting, repairing barges by the look of it. I'm not quite sure how they get them out of the water, but you know, who can tell? Anyway, time to leave here and go to Turtle Bay and see if we can get in there today. It's a little windy. We may be back yet. We will see. Well, we tried to get up into Turtle Bay and it was just a bit lumpy and a bit too windy. So we've been blowing for the last week pretty hard since we arrived at Santo Island. And I just decided it wasn't worth trying to get through the narrow passage or the shallow passage. So I tried anchoring behind Bassie Island and Maybe Island, which are both north of Malekula Bay, and neither of those were suitable. It was just very shallow, lots of coral, touched a few times trying to get an anchor in. It was either too deep or too shallow. And so I decided to sail down the west coast of Malekula. And on the way, we anchored in the river down the south of the river, and then we headed on down to the west coast. Well, I'm just sailing into the northern tip or northwest side of Malekula. We left Santo, so we decided to come down the west coast because it's pretty blowy at the moment on the east coast, and we're coming into a Spree Bay or near there, probably a little bit south of there I think at the moment. We've got a nice little section of beach which is a bit of protection. It looks like it's just going to be sand, which is pretty cool. Or if that doesn't work out, we'll head up to the bay and we'll check out the bay. But wind seems to funnel down these hills from the other side, and yeah, it's a bit gusty. I'm hoping when we get a bit closer, get more protection from the hinterland. That will stop us from getting buffeted with these winds rolling down the hills. But yeah, it seems to be much drier over here than on the other side, so they probably get less rain. It certainly looks a lot drier. I'll give you a look now. So this is just south of Spree Harbour or Bay. That bay is just up there, about 2 miles away. I've come into here because this is as tight as I could tack, and I've just turned on the motor, so we can just motor sail the last mile or so. It looks pretty good so far. Like there's a bit of reef on that end. There's a bit of reef on that end over here. But in the middle, it reminds me of some of the places I've anchored, which are like a rocky sandy beach, but there's probably not a lot of coral there. And I'm hoping that's what we find. We can just anchor close to the beach, maybe 100 metres off, and 10-15 metres of water in sand or rock, and yeah, we can hang here for a night or two, and then we'll keep working our way down further on Malekula on the west coast, and eventually when we get the right weather window we'll punch up to Port Vila. Yeah, very, very different coastline, much drier, not as much rain. But, yeah, days turned out okay. Started off with good, the wind is actually going to pick up this afternoon. We'll see. Nothing here is for certain when it comes to the weather. But just 80 metres, so we've gone from no bobbins to 80 metres. Last night I left the Santo Passage, or river as I call it, headed south, and I anchored just south of Especially Bay. There's a little beach down there, and it was a great little anchorage. Super friendly locals trying to sell fruit and veg. It's very cute. And then had a bit of a blow coming through, forecasted 30 knots, and it's pretty exposed on the west coast. So we headed further south, and there's a little a little bay further south, or a larger bay, but there's a small bay called Lambu Harbour. And on Navionics, it looks too shallow to get in, but I thought it was worth having a look at. Otherwise, I'd probably have to go to see if it got too rough. So I went down there, and so check it out. Yeah, I decided not to enter this bay today. There's a big blow coming, and there's a rock shelf going across there. I couldn't determine whether there was enough water. So I'm in 6 metres where the boat is. I anchored in about 4.5 metres, but theoretically I should be able to go between that rock shelf there, anchor in this bay, and I could have. It'd be 2 metres under the keel, and there's probably 1/2 metre of tide to go out, so maybe 1.5 metres under the keel. And it's not a bad spot in here, it's pretty protected. It'd be fantastic in a cat's or a shallow draft vessel, but I've got a 2 metre keel, so always a little bit apprehensive about coming into shallow spots, and I can see patches of rock or reef. In the middle it looks pretty good. I had a bit of a go around. I've been sounding the bottom, and like at the moment it's probably 2 metres deep around here, right on the edges, but there's an old wharf here of some form. This used to be some sort of a loading port, I would think. It makes a perfect little port, particularly for a shallow draft vessel. But yeah, at the moment it serves my purposes. Gets me some protection from the coming storm or blow, and then I can proceed south to the southwestern port on Malekula. So I'm on the west coast of Malekula at the moment. Yeah, it's a pretty little spot, very pretty. Not too many locals, a little village at the head of the bay. But yes, we're out exploring. Another day, living the dream. Well, today I'm motor sailing south down the coast of Malekula. We're on the west coast. We're trying to work our way back to Port Vila. Had a bit of a blow going through the last few days, so we've been in a tiny little anchorage the last 2 days. But we need to get back, so we're venturing out and just working our way up the coast. It's reasonably protected. We're only 1/2 mile off the coast. But the weather is still shit, and I've just blown out my genoa. So I've got a 2 metre tear on my genoa, which means this afternoon I need to pull that down and replace it with the jib, which was a job that needed to happen soon anyway, but I thought I'd get a little bit more out of the genoa. But yeah, it's just wear and tear. But yeah, here's the coast of Malekula. Swell. It's on the bloody nose, and the further out you get, it becomes very uncomfortable. So sailing back to Vila, it'll be a bit of a challenge. Probably would have been better to go Port Sandwich, across to Epi, and then Epi to Port Vila would have given us a better sailing angle. And that's what I did last time, but I've been to Epi, so we thought we'd run down the west coast. Well, it's been okay. Like, it's been relatively protected. Like a couple of days ago, getting over to this part of the coast was a bit of a beat. But it's protected in here because we're so close to the coastline. And yeah, it's nice. It's a nice part of the world. The sail to Port Vila is going to be a ballbuster if the wind doesn't swing around to the east. I've been waiting for it to swing around to the east. It's been on the forecast, but the forecasts here aren't worth a pinch of shit. The only thing they've got you right is it's stormy. Wind direction? Yeah, not really. But I'm hoping this will blow itself out today, and either tonight or tomorrow it'll be a pleasant day, and we'll head off. It's going to be 90 miles, so in these conditions, I'd say that's about a 36. No, it'd be about a 24 or 18, 24 hours sail. It's hard to say. Yeah, we'll see. Conditions change here very rapidly, and this might just blow itself out and we get some good weather. Who can tell? But at the moment, we're on the Iron Horse. He's doing okay. A little bit of assistance from the wind when the wind blows in the right direction, even though it's been very fickle. So yeah, so you're in the southwest corner of Malekula. Well, we're coming into Metanova Bay in the southwest corner of Malekula. A couple of settlements. It's blowing its fucking arse off. Has been all day. 20 miles up the coast from another little bay which is pretty protected. It's also quite protected once we get in there, but wind's on the nose. It's blowing solid 20 out of the southeast, and yeah, we're just going to creep our way up into that southeast corner over there, drop the pick, and wait for the wind to ease off or change around until we head up to Popular. This bay's currently got a white sandy bottom, good holding. I guess we'll find out. And in the background up there's a lake. It's not a fabulous day, in fact it's a garbage day. It's been like this all day long. But yeah, it seems to have picked up in intensity in the last hour, which is always the way when you're trying to get into somewhere. But we will see. Move along. We'll get in there, anchor, sit down, bit of lunch, and then work out what's next on the agenda. For me, the next thing on the agenda is probably getting rid of the main, dropping the main, putting it away. Alright, job's on.